Quick video demo of the Scrapflex. Going to run over really about the whole hilt, how it comes apart, what's into it, how to take it apart to program the board, those kinds of things. Everything's fairly straightforward and simple. Starting up at the emitter end, the blade plug, you loosen this one screw, that is your blade retention. I've already got it loosened so that the plug come out. Plug was custom made. Has been a stainless steel part that's been heat stained with some brass pieces that were added. The glass eye also has some brass mesh in behind it. And it's wide open and you can see inside the NeoPixel connector. The red button, also removable. This was not a Corbanth red button anymore. It was replaced with a Graphic Shop one. Underneath, you have your tactile switch, which is attached to the inner core of the chassis. So if you do need to, you'd remove this screw, the 4 Graphics pins, the glass eye, and the blade screw, and then the shroud will come off and reveal the rest of the rings under the core, as well as the button here. That shouldn't be needed for any maintenance. Really, if you ever want to do anything with the battery, I'll explain how to get to it in just a moment. Clamp, if you pull up the lever, it will slide down over when this handle is removed. So it is fully removable, and I'll do that in a moment. Come down through here, standard Corbanth kit. The pommel has the normal pommel. It's removable, so you could replace it with anything that has a matching set of threads. This is held on. There's 2 screws, grub screws underneath the card, and then the D-ring is actually fairly tight, so it's not going to, as you can see, rattle around. Threads open to reveal the inner chassis. The fake crate pearl, you can kind of rotate it around in there. It's not glued down. We have bronze on the 2 pieces that touch the crystal, brass rods, and then machined aluminum parts for the rest of the chassis. This screw, this thumb nut, as well as that thumb nut, hold this piece of the chassis up onto 2 threaded rods that actually thread into the bottom of the core. If you ever need to get to the battery up here, then you'll take those 2 screws off down here. That part of the chamber and the chassis inside will slide down a bit. You'll onto a connector in here that actually connects the tactile switch. It's a little 2-pin, just pull it apart, and then the whole inner chassis should be able to slide directly out of the whole hilt. Be careful, because if you look in here, see if I can get the light right, that little groove right there will slide over the wires for that switch. So just make sure you keep that aligned when you go to pull it out, and it will basically make sure you don't pinch off those wires for the switch itself. Other than that, down here, speaker is covered. This is a friction fit on. It slides off. You have kill switch, recharge port, the pixels that go around. I put this little piece of foam, it's me being extra safe. The board does snap down. To program the board, you will need to pick it up. I just used my fingernail basically. Pop it up a little bit, and then you can plug straight into it. When you do pop it up, if you want, you could slide it down away from the chassis metal piece itself. But for the most part, that shouldn't really be needed. And that's kind of the overview. Again, it is 1 button only, the red button. And I will take the clamp off. So it slides all the way off. Okay, there it is. The chassis sleeve has the 2 holes for access to the recharge port and kill switch right there. So when you go to put them on, just keep them lined up and slide them up. Twist a little bit to line it up. Really the one to look at when you're lining it up is the recharge port, but you shouldn't have to take this off very often. The crystal is lit from a pixel on both ends, so you can get animations on both. The stock connector up here for pixel is also, it will light this. It has swing on, twist off, and also the single button will ignite and retract. We'll put a blade in here in a moment, but we'll go through, hold down and release,
Smooth fuzz.
change fonts, you can see that dual pixel on the crystal can provide some pretty interesting animations, because the top pixel in a lot of cases have got to match the main blade. The bottom pixel does different types of animations between audio flicker, pulse, fast pulses, similar of that kind of nature.
Rogue Commander.
Very bassy font. Also, those pixels down there all have slightly different animations or colors depending on the font itself.
Smooth Jedi.
Made this one a purple.
Smooth gray.
This one is definitely different on the ring. You'll see when I swing on. Lights up, and then in an off state, it goes down. And we're back here to the first font again. So we'll put in a blade and show you that the pixel connector is working. I'm going to make sure the blade is snug against the pins, and then just snug this down a little bit. So that's pretty much the overall of the saber. I'll show you how loud it is with this on too. It does get a little more resonance when that handle is on, so it gets a little louder. And then that's what it looks like all together with the actual clamp card off. It is weathered similarly under where that clamp card goes. You'll get a little more shine and scratch just because the clamp card rubs the outside of the hilt. Other than that, that is the Scrapflex.